Salute again.
Yo, to another day,
To
especially
another
a Friday.
day, bro. Yeah, happy Friday. Cheers.
What a Friday it has been.
It feels like a Friday so
Dude.
far.
Feels like a Monday.
It does kind of feel like a Monday too. I've had a thing recently where like
Every day is just a Monday.
every day is a Saturday is a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where it's like it feels like it's like already over and it's
Yeah.
actually like 11:30.
I know. And then Sunday actually comes and you're like, what?
Dude, and then today I woke up and I was like, I don't really have anything going on today. Like it's just
Oh, that's great.
I mean, it's some
Work stuff.
There's stuff, but it's like, at the end of the day, like by the afternoon, it's like, okay, all right,
Yeah,
we're having a good time now.
I'm with you.
Finally. But yeah,
I
long
am
week.
definitely having
Had some
a good
in-person
time now.
stuff,
Yeah.
A lot of that. So that was I'm sure something that you do still as well.
Oh, yeah. To the 10th degree.
Yeah, you get that human to human interaction.
Yep. But kind of diving into the other stuff that I didn't get to check a lot today, but yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was the day after the market went crazy. Market had like a 6% day positive, which fantastic.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
Where it was like, whoop.
Yeah, that was due to the postponement, 90-day postponement for some of the tariffs that our leader is currently doing. But I thought it was interesting because the following day, then Thursday, the market's back down again.
Okay.
Not by a ton, but I think it was
it was already
over
back down.
2% or something like that.
The little line was like this. It was like down, and then it went like up, and then it's like back down again.
Yes, yeah. So
Just
it
not
went
as
down
bad,
again.
yeah.
And then today, I don't know where it left off at, but I'm curious to know why is it that sentiment of, we have 90 more days, we should be good. Like that sentiment changes the market, right? Like who's responsible for essentially saying these companies now can raise their prices for their shares based on a sentiment that only pushes something back 90 days?
Well, dude, isn't that going into the conversation of like insider trading?
Yes.
And just rigging the system?
Yeah.
Which is what we talked about last week, where it's like that's really all you do is you just play all the cards that are like the ones you just made up that literally dictate all of the systems in place. Like, it's crazy how easily you can just tank an entire economy.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of insane because I don't even think most people are all that into this. Like, I don't think it's... I don't know. It's like all the mass uprisings, all of the like overly speaking of like, hey everybody, like I've seen like people at concerts would be like, dude, everyone here is like a safe space, like everything out there, like we leave it out there. And it's like, it's so crazy that we're like able to do that because it's not affecting us directly apparently. And so it's like, we're doing these mass protests, which is like the best. I love to see that. And it's honestly
people can
shocking.
actually unite on something.
Yeah, and
we can
lot of
actually
people,
agree on something.
I saw people that I never would expect to be protesting, which I thought was like really fucking cool. And it's not like I'm a big protester. I've only been to like maybe one or two rallies in the past like I don't fucking know 3 years maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not like out there. I used to like want to be that, and then I realized I actually just don't like big crowds of people where it's like you're just like in the mix and all that.
Yeah.
So, but hell yeah, America, keep doing it. Don't stop.
I agree. It is good, right? One of the things I thought was interesting from the market too that kind of bleeds into protesting is with Tesla, right? Like the good day that the market had, Tesla was up like 21% at one point. How is it that sentiment can drive something like that up 20% in one day? That's crazy.
That is crazy that it's
That's
that
nuts.
volatile right now. Because it just shows like the volatility is unquantifiable.
Sure, but like
right?
nothing changed for Tesla.
No, yeah. It's
So then
horrible,
why-
dude. The recalls? They've had tons of recalls.
No, but I'm saying nothing's changed within the company that states a
To make it-
21% return in one day.
I think it's because they've gotten hit for shit. Like, and
It doesn't even matter.
Like, as if I know how that should work. But like, dude, no, that is crazy though. All the stuff with Tesla and like just investing in that stock, like only having a few and then being like, what the hell is happening at this company?
So
Like,
the narrative.
who is this person?
No, you're right. So the narrative actually for the big change, anyways. My assumption would be that the argument against me would be that the tariffs that were postponed 90 days, they impact how Tesla operates with China. And
they do.
And
Yeah,
the
for sure.
and the amount of return that they
Parts.
get, in which I understand that, but that's not a 20% swing for your company as a share,
No.
like with
I mean,
shareholders.
I can't imagine it is. I think
How does that even justify? It's 90 days, right? So I would understand if it's like, oh, postpone it a year. That would make sense then, or at least more sense
you're
than
like
90
you're
days.
saying like they're being buffed when they
Yes.
shouldn't be buffed
Yes.
because they're buffing while they can prepare for like an ultimate inevitable decline.
Yeah.
Because if you I mean, dude, it's so fun to see people like out in the world like living in or like like going out and just experiencing China or whatever, and then coming back and being like, hey, this is a great place to visit. Like really good times, and no one thinks about going to China. Like I don't have friends
I
who
would
are like
love
I've
to.
casually visited
I would love
China.
to. Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
I also am like I'm from Minnesota.
Yeah, but
You're
that
from
doesn't
more of
matter.
an international community in,
Guess so.
in Jersey.
But yeah, I've kind of lived all over the place too, though. You know, California, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Sometimes in the summers at in Fort Lauderdale.
Did they say water
Florida.
down there too?
In Florida,
Yeah.
I think some people. Some people I would say, but those are people from Jersey
from
that
Jersey.
moved to Florida. Yeah.
No, I was just talking about like New York like accents. I was
Yeah.
working with a guy who's like very Midwestern sounding, and he's like, I'm actually from Brooklyn, and it's like,
Oh,
hell
dang.
yeah, what?
Wow. That is really cool.
Yeah, something about the Midwestern work ethic broke him down. It just broke
Just
him
like
down.
forget it. Yeah. Anyways, the market. So
Dude, yeah, so like
okay,
that's
so
where we're at.
where do we go from here with the market? I don't
Okay.
even know. I mean, you're just going to keep investing, obviously.
I'm not really doing too much crazy stuff right now. I'm like
Not even that you have to do anything crazy. You could be in an ETF for the next 30, 40 years.
yeah.
And
That's actually where you want to be.
And probably be pretty fine because investing, I feel like, into the common stocks, right? Like a Google, Microsoft. There's a payoff potentially, sure.
Yeah.
There's
You gotta
also a
time it,
potential
dude.
downside, right? Like look at Google.
I've never
Google
sold
right
any
now,
of my,
right?
Yeah, when they did their stock split, and then you got two different ones. Where
Well,
you could
now
be
they're
like,
talking about separating the parts of the company into different entities.
smart.
Well, yes and no.
Also,
if they're
very
not
bad
successful,
because some.
Yeah.
Well, dude, but then it weeds out the shitty
Yeah.
ones. It's like buy that part of Google that sucks.
yeah.
Sounds like kind of a good idea, but like, I get it. Like, it also makes it. You get the ETF for all the Google.
Yeah,
Like,
well, right. I mean, you already get the reapings of Google when you're invested into a specific ETF stock. Like, let's say something focused on the Fortune 500. You're technically invested into Google,
Yep.
even though you have shares of the ETF, because it's their money that's ultimately invested, right?
yeah, you're just you're along for the ride.
That's it.
You're
You're just
getting
hoping
the-
these smart people are
Dude,
smarter
and they're
than you.
not smart, but they actually are fun. They actually probably are smart, dude. I'm actually
Do
not
you have a
blaming the
financial
smart
advisor?
people. No.
I don't either. And
I'm my
I think
own
it's the
financial
I think it's
advisor.
the
It's
dumbest
horrible.
thing, dude. No. I think it's the dumbest thing to have one.
Oh, okay.
Because
yeah. Well, I
think
mean, I'm not
about
paying anyone for
think about
shit.
what your advisor's going to do. Have you ever had one? Let me tell you a story, okay, real quick.
Have I ever had like a financial advisor?
Yes.
Okay, I do have an indirect financial advisor from my uncle.
Okay, how frequently do you talk to this human?
Not frequently enough, to be honest. And I would say
Is it once a year?
it's probably like we get no, it's more than that. We talk more. We text. There's things where we
So
talk.
you do have a financial advisor.
No. But we don't talk about finances. But when I see him, like when we're in person, I'll be like, dude, so like, what if this? And he'll be like, dude, invest in Crocs. And then it's like, dude. And then I didn't even know.
So-
And then everyone was fucking making money.
So you have a friend that is giving you advice.
Family member doesn't count. Different blood.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I mean, if it's working, that's great.
No, but it's not because I
Oh.
don't get much advice from him. I just hear crazy shit like that, and I'm like, I'm still invested in all technology, dude.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. Like
You're invested still in Apple, I imagine.
Apple, dude. I love Apple. That's like my go-to.
You should look to like transfer those funds into something else. I would say,
Dude,
quite honestly.
we look at what we're using all the time. Like
I
mean,
understand
like
that, but
this-
how innovative have they been since the transition that everybody
They don't
went
need
to
to
them?
be innovative. Has Microsoft
they do.
ever been innovative?
Yes, unfortunately.
They are not innovative. Look
They
at,
create products, but they're not good products.
They're
that's,
horrible
That's what
products.
Microsoft does.
okay, so you're saying Apple doesn't create enough products?
Correct.
Dude, they have so many products. They're revamping a new version of everything all the time.
They technically have a ton of products, but how
And
many?
they
But how
iterate.
many people are using Apple's cloud for, let's say, their business servers, right?
Oh,
Compared
true.
to Azure,
True.
right?
True. No, I see what you're saying.
They should totally focus on that.
So what you're saying is that like ultimately they are the sharks in the water, but the real whales are the Azures, and the ones that are the majestic, true brain beings. Whereas the sharks like Apple are out there killing off every little thread of any sort of innovation from any sort of small company or buying them.
But no, dude, there's a revolt, I would say, when it comes to customers that actually value Apple products versus the others.
Oh, dude,
The price is not right?
Yeah,
You're paying way too much money. So you have this distinction now between both Apple and its competitor, like think of Android, right? They have way more users than they obviously previously had, which I guess you could expect over time, right? But it's created a base now to where folks who have transitioned from Apple to Android, why would you ever go back at this point, right? It's easier.
Dude, I've tried. I did it one time.
It's
the
easier.
Google Pixel 4 was going to get me back.
I have the Pixel 4.
Is it great?
Right here.
Dude, can I touch it?
Yeah, of course.
I remember
It's
distinctly going. Yeah, I remember the year
about-
I was going and looking for this, dude. It was 5 years ago.
Do you see that cracked screen?
Dude,
You
yeah.
like that?
It's nice.
I did that
though.
day one.
See, these are good, though. That's what I was looking for. I was like, give me something else.
Yeah, so going back into, we were just finishing up on our conversation about Microsoft Azure and the Apple business structure, right? So I'm just going to say this about Apple. They could be the future if they wanted to because of how much money that they have in hand compared to their debts. The problem is they just want to keep writing the same flow that they've been doing because right now
When you're hardware, that's software, like
it's working clearly. I'm not saying that they're not going to be profitable and that they're not going to continue to be a big company. I'm saying they're not going to be the future.
so that people could break it.
Until they finally transition over to a better idea, right? Like a business structure overall, being more innovative and being able to reach out to the masses, right? People who can afford their product. If they can move that way, it doesn't mean they have to have less quality, right? They have slave people out there mining their shit.
No, they do.
For cheap.
They do.
They can clearly afford to lessen the prices of their products to allow the masses then to transition back to Apple products. I think it's stupid not to. Because then you get your game back from Microsoft. I'm saying everything, right? They get everything back, not an actual video game. I'm just talking about the way that they used to do business or that they still do.
I feel like Microsoft, and I could be, dude, I'm not a genius. I don't know this at all. But like, what I'm thinking with Microsoft is they got corporate fat contracts.
Yeah.
You know, and Apple does too, but like, they also don't. Because like, there was a whole company around here at one point called Jamf that would become...
I know about Jamf, yeah.
You know about Jamf?
Yeah.
Their stock is horrible. I bought one thing, and it was like $20, and it went down to like $10, and I was like, dude, I mean...
So Jamf offers an incredible product for a premium price.
Yeah, it's like
to
the deployment
manage
of iOS shit.
To manage
so it makes me think,
Apple products.
I'm like, why is that a thing, and why are they not part of Apple? It's just like, for me, I'm like, Apple's must have like lost a battle in some sort of like higher.
Why doesn't Apple just
thing?
Offer their own thing, right? If you think about it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, Microsoft does that, so why wouldn't they?
So yeah, like Microsoft does such a good job of like giving companies all of this shit.
Yeah,
you can manage
it all.
And it's like
it's all within the same
peanut butter
suite.
and jelly version of things. It's like, okay, this is great.
Jumping into Minecraft, the newest movie that hit the theaters. So
Jumping into Minecraft. Dude.
Jack Black is starring in it. Were you ever a Jack Black fan?
I've always been a Jack Black fan since School of Rock.
Oh yes,
like,
that's
basically
definitely what kicked it off for me.
I don't know, dude.
Hey,
you remember?
Read between the lines. Read between the lines.
Read between the lines, motherfucker. Yeah. Dude, when he's just looking at him and then it's like, like his stupid little face. Right. I love his stupid little face.
I love the way that he reacted to people in those movies. Right? He's kind of got just like the same personality throughout his movies, and you know what? I'm okay with that.
And it's okay, but he doesn't get people to support him. Like when you think about School of Rock and the movie and how good it was, like with Ned being like such a bot and just being such an ordinary, boring person.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like dude had no rhythm to his life.
And he had the whole story of like, a woman coming in and just completely dismantling his life and like making it so that he can't do anything he loves again.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like this is such a like I don't know who wrote this, but like someone's got some feelings about this because like honestly like
they dove in.
I get that, but like it's like they dove into that topic. But I think the contrast with what was it, Jan Levinson? No, not Jan Levinson Gould from The Office, but the woman who is like the principal in School of Rock when
I completely forgot who that is.
I don't know who that is, but she's in a lot of movies, so she's a very well-known actor.
I would agree.
But what's cool about it is she just like really comes alongside Jack Black in that movie and just is like, dude, I'm Jim carrying this too.
They did a great job.
We are going to go for it. They just amplified each other. Like, and I think like that's something that he misses in a lot of movies because like he'll just be thrown into the context of something kind of like kooky, and then he'll have to kind of just be kooky, and it's like, okay, but like the funniness is when he gets hit with a realistic like life thing where he's like, dude, this guy's life has become so tough that he wants to go make a band with kids. All right, here we are.
All right, so
back.
We're back into this again.
Back again
for the fourth time. We got it finally.
We got it for you.
Jack Black and Minecraft, the movie. So neither one of us have actually watched the movie. We're both just hearing the feedback from the fan base of Minecraft, which is what, Gen Z? Is that right?
I think that's entirely Gen Z, yeah.
Okay, so Gen Z apparently hate this movie. They think it's the worst movie ever. However,
it's like they co-opt your childhood. Because I mean, dude, you know what I mean? Gen Z, it's like this is when you were like 10.
I get it.
You love this shit when you're 10.
And that to me explains its explosive week, like in theaters, because it made $350 million at the box office.
That's so
its
wild.
First week, which is wild. That would make you think, oh, this actually might be a good movie, and then you find out it's actually the worst ever made because
like
there is no plot.
Thing of all
they
time.
don't follow even like the features of the actual video game and some of the lore behind it.
They don't even follow.
I'm talking about like
the
with
lore.
Characters,
dude. So you're telling me they're just like every other thing that's ever been, because dude,
you're talking about like Amazon with Rings of Power.
Yes, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the industry in its current state, and we all know this, dude. Every single person knows this, and you know what they know? We are in zombie mode.
Yeah,
we are watching the most zombie ass. Like tech-enabled zombie lazy shit that people that have jobs that are paid whatever and have titles that whatever do things that they are so mediocre at. And it's like, there you go. We just, dude, I mean, you still see great movies. Like I saw Flo with the cat running around. The whole movie.
Stop that. We're not going to say that's a great movie. We're not going to say that's a great movie, though.
Dude, I thought that was a fucking great movie.
It can be a good movie.
No, it was spectacular, dude.
I don't know.
You have not seen this little capybara try to save the cat in the ship that was already on water, that was going up, that now is stuck on the tree branch, dangling, and the capybara's like, no, my little cat friend, and it's like grabbing the little rope. Dude, I don't even know if that's exactly what happened, but it was very close to that, and it was the whole movie. It was like animal helping animal. It's the best, and honestly, like I felt more connected to that than a lot of trash that is out there, because things are just so distilled down and manufactured.
I will piggyback.
Whereas that is like, this is one of a kind. These little people making these things, like I don't know who these people are, but they're making these little people that run around, and then pretty cool.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what you're talking about, which is the destruction of an IP.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's think about it. Amazon destroyed Rings of Power.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones is another one.
Absolutely decimated.
Star Wars?
Decimated.
Completely decimated.
Dude,
who watches that anymore?
Honestly, it's become... No, it's not
laughable.
even decimated, because when you see something decimated, you look at it. When it's Disney, you don't look at it. You don't even watch it anymore, because it's actually just decayed in front of you. And you don't care anymore. It's actually gone. Like, you have divested entirely from caring about that.
Yeah.
We hadn't been able to do that with Rings of Power.
No.
We had to do that.
We had to watch the destruction of that. That one really sucked, because it was like watching a train
we didn't want to do that.
Smash into a car. And we all saw it coming, but we wanted to be like excited for it because there was a chance that maybe they could make this right, until we found out that they completely went left field, did things that never existed in the Second Age whatsoever, and storylines of characters that didn't do any of the things that they were sought out to do within the plot itself, right? And it's okay if you want to be creative
which
and
is
make
awesome
new stuff.
and amazing.
That's cool.
Keep doing that.
But you already have rights to some of this stuff. Why
have
not
the
focus
paradigm.
on what the lore actually gives you? Because guess what? You don't have to
Where
reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
If you want to add stuff to it,
you don't have to reinvent
go
the wheel.
for it.
That's the great take.
Do a 75-25. 75, you follow the lore. 25, you get to be creative as much as you want, and you get to add stuff.
And they did a lot of stuff that was creative. That was like, wow, that's cool.
The visuals, I will say, were wonderful to actually see.
Here's where it gets dumb as hell, right? It's when they start infusing genres, right? Which is like kind of like strange. They're like, nah, Celebrimbor, bro. You're getting your freaking arm chopped off, and then it's going Saw style on that, and you're just gonna have to watch that. And go ahead. And it's like, that's just not part of... And I get it. You're saying that the director, Peter Jackson, is the Lord and you have to follow him.
So
no, you don't have to. But maybe you should advise yourself that it is a good way to go.
As a Lord of the Rings fan, this is the one part that is gray for me. And I don't remember. So help me out here. And maybe you don't know either. How did Celebrimbor die actually in the storylines?
Did he die?
I thought he did not die,
and
that he continued to make rings, as well as I thought that he remade
the
sword from Isildur. I thought that he remade Narsil.
Dude, I can't recall.
Am I not
that
right on that?
Really good.
I thought that's what happened, which means that Sauron does not kill him in the way that was portrayed in Rings of Power.
I don't know.
Who's gonna remake the sword now?
I'm sure he didn't.
Who's gonna remake the sword, dude?
It was such a like rip off of like, now that I've watched Wheels of Time.
Yeah.
Wheels of Time season 2, and the woman gets like beat up and is like imprisoned. It's kind of like that, where it's like, Celebrimbor, you're my slave now. It's like,
you're my slave.
I just don't get it. It's like, this is not the thing that anyone wants to do. So.
Mm-hmm. No. So then going back to Minecraft, I can understand why Gen Z was so upset that Hollywood once again decimates another favorite thing. Now they know.
Cultural appropriation.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
it was important for them to experience, unfortunately.
In a mass way. Like, of course, there's other things.
They actually could have made Minecraft into a fun movie. They could have done a great job with that. Unfortunately,
they could have done that, but
I think it would have been possible.
Dude, if you really did it the right way, it'd be the most boring fucking movie of all time.
Well, I mean, obviously,
and I'm not Gen Z enough to say that with actual confidence, but like, you know what I mean? It's like,
I guess so.
I mean, because like, dude, have you seen that shit though? Like, they're blocks.
It never was exciting.
Nothing happens. They make great like universes of the blocks.
It never was exciting for me, but I am not Gen Z. So,
dude,
I was too focused on Halo, bro. Who wants to play Minecraft when you play Halo?
We were playing Halo, dude, and then before that, we were playing Age of Empires, and like those were great games.
Actually, one of my favorite video games of all time is the Return of the King, Lord of the Rings. The reason why?
Which one? PS1, PS2?
Multiplayer, so you can do co-op, right? And you're just slaying through Udix, and you can slay through goblins.
It came out before the movie came out, remember?
Yes, it did, and that's what was so cool, because you
with your homies.
Yes, and you got to see little short. Yeah, you literally are getting the short videos from the movie. So it's giving you a glimpse of the movie.
People need to learn from history.
That was enticing, because we already couldn't wait for the movie. Already couldn't wait for it to drop. And because it wasn't even dropped yet, this video game gave us visuals and
like
short videos.
Or not Helm's Deep, it was Minas Tirith with Gandalf.
Yes.
With the that was like...
Yeah,
I was like, I can't believe this. And I remember just going in with the homies, and we were all just playing the game, and then we all just went to the movie. It's like, people probably don't have good experiences like that anymore.
Not like that anymore. Dude, actually, the Two Towers game, the one before The Return of the King, that one came out after the Fellowship of the Ring came out.
I remember they got more playable over time. Well, like, Fellowship was pretty like...
Yeah, I know. So the Fellowship of the Ring video game, I thought was still fun because of the story perspective. Like, you get to play as if you're an actual character like Link from Zelda. Mm-hmm. It's that same type of thing, right? Maybe not as playful as that one, but it still was good in my opinion, right? Gave us dialogue. It was fun. But the Two Towers was nice because there was so much more action.
Yeah.
You were condensed into a specific universe, but I thought that still made it fun because you had set sections of what to destroy next.
I thought those
and
were
but
little simulations,
yep,
right?
and
like
it didn't have co-op though.
The dead one,
yes,
where you're like,
oh no, that the dead one,
souls.
the dead one was Return of the King.
Yeah, that one,
and that's what was so great. But I'm talking about the Two Towers.
Oh yeah, but
the Two Towers was good.
And sorry, in my mind, my mind went like, they are two of the same, because it's like there's the trilogy, but then there's like Two Towers and the Return of the King. Yeah. Those are two of the same game. Yeah. Just like third one was like amplified version of the.
So I'll actually break that down even further. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Would you agree? Because that's where I
would agree.
For a while.
Return of the King and the Two Towers game was actually made by EA, so that's why a lot of the style was the same, transitioning into the Return of the King. But the Fellowship of the Ring video game was not made by EA, and it was made by a different company that then tailored it to the book, which was fantastic because you got so much more.
You had different animations and stuff.
But it didn't have the snippets of the Two Towers movie that was about to come out. The Two Towers video game had that, though, which was great. So that's what I felt like separated the two.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like because the Two Towers video game also incorporated the Fellowship of the Ring.
You're so right.
Stuff that you could play through. But
You're just
the movie had already dropped.
Syncopate the movie with the game in the way that they did later, where it was like complete alignment. And honestly, that's kind of how it is now. I think. Yeah. You don't get that. Like,
you're not getting anything anymore.
Honestly, no one can make a good show, let alone a good movie.
No.
And so it's like, you can't really expect anything yet. But, like, that will change, I think, in time.
There are games, though, that are... And I do think that there are
when
good
AI starts supporting AI, and AI becomes, like, human, and then they are all supporting each other in the way that is human...
I don't want that.
That would be so wild, because then it's like, dude, I have AI working for AI that is working for me. Woo! Not bad.
I don't like that. That's not good.
Dude, it could be really good.
I mean, it's going to be really good for the people who can afford to have services like that, but once they start upping the price for those types of services, it separates, at that point, the people who are low income, and then it creates a separate. There is no middle class anymore.
We can also talk about how AI is problematic for the entire world because of the environment and the resources. It just.
But you see, I don't think it's going to be overnight.
Eventually,
I don't think it's going to be overnight. I think it'll be potentially during my child's generation, though.
Okay.
But towards the end of their life is what I think is when you'll start seeing that major shift of when AI. Supporting AI is going to be a thing of normalcy.
I think that's a normal thing to project in the world, because it's
Maisie's
like,
going to be the last generation, I think, to actually know what the world is like without AI being incorporated into every facet of our lives.
Dude.
Which is kind of wild to think about.
God, man.
Think about the transition.
You just made that really sad, because like there's so many things I love that are not AI that are just broken and work perfectly for me. It's like, don't ever fix this. I want this to be broken forever.
Thank God that'll be after us. When we're dead.
Dude. Yeah, humanity eventually becomes a homogenous blob.
Dude, we're all just going to be bots.
Dude, we are the hybrids, though, if you think about it, right? I've always been saying that. And I don't know if that's how you should say that, but it's how I feel.
What are you talking about?
Like, we are the people that came without the computers.
Oh, yeah, we're the last generation.
And we had to learn how to write cursive.
Yep.
Which I think a lot of people did until, like, not that long ago.
Maybe.
But, like, maybe. I don't fucking know.
I'm pretty sure they stopped practicing it after a decade.
Dude, what a fun art form. And I'm so bad at it still. But it's like, at least I was exposed to trying it.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty good at it. I still incorporate it into some of my writings.
Yeah.
When I put pen to paper, Yeah, but it is a sad thing to think about that we're the last generation to remember what life was like without, I don't know, technology to the point that we obviously have it today.
Aggravated technology.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know if you had this or not, but we had a phone that was attached to the wall with a cord.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried to have
I had a Mario one. It was
cord.
really cool. It was like it was literally Mario Kart.
That's cool.
It was a phone.
That's
it was so
dope.
Cool.
Yeah.
And little manual buttons on it.
Yeah, well, mine was in our kitchen, so if I'm on the phone with my dad on that, I'm there having a conversation with everybody else who's in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of love that. I mean, I can see that, like, very much so about the social dynamics that we even engage in, which is around, like, phone calls and stuff. Like, we don't do that a lot with other people. I mean, you do, because you're definitely, like, setting the tone more. But I feel like I text so many people. But like, I like that we connect on that level because I'm also very used to just like calling someone.
I just call people, bro.
And, like,
I hate texting so much.
yeah, but it's hard because you feel like you're intruding in a way. Like,
I don't ever feel that. I
no,
just
I
call.
know, I know. And with your
Yeah.
people, you don't. But with people, I don't know.
Even people I'm
but,
not even close with, I'm just calling.
I'm not gonna.
I
be
don't
like,
have
dude,
time
I
to be
haven't talked
talking
to you in
over
2
text
years.
for 30 minutes.
I'm calling you right now.
Dude, I'm just
because
calling.
like you're a good friend and we used to be really close.
Yeah.
Like I'm probably not doing that. I don't think anyone's gonna do that. But you might.
I always do it.
God, that's badass.
That's all I do. Before I go to bed, I usually call folks who I'm just looking to catch up with on life. You sometimes are the recipient of those phone calls.
Oh, I am definitely the recipient.
Yeah.
And
it's like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock during the week.
Yes, dude. Yeah, and it's like usually a great time to talk because
Absolutely.
it's like I just finished watching these stupid shows that I spend my time like watching.
Just vegging out.
Or just like doing nothing, or like doing something where it's like I really need to be like not doing this, and just like I need to be pulled out of this thought. Like,
and
that's
then I
what's so
call
nice
and you're
about
like,
it.
oh, cool. All
Yeah,
right.
it's like a really spontaneous, and you kind of live your life like this. I live my life like this. It's like the spontaneity of just like, hey, I'm here now.
Yeah. Or you know what else I love is that I can shoot you a text at any time of the night during the week and be like, hey, do you want to go play pool? Like I'll never forget, what was it? I think it was like 6 months ago. It was at like 9:45 at night, and I was like, "Dang, I could just keep playing Madden right now, or I can just hit up Gabe and see if he wants to go meet up at Midway Saloon,
It
play
was
some
perfect
pool."
timing.
And you're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll
absolutely.
see you there in 30."
Yep. Dude, that was a great time. And then
We
we
had a
walked
wonderful
into the
time.
open mic night, right?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
That was so cool
That
too,
was
because it was
cool.
like there was bands after bands that were just like sick as fuck.
Yeah.
And then we're just out here like
just chilling.
living our lives. And dude, the pool tables there at the Midway Saloon,
They're
I love
fantastic.
that place. But
I
you
love
have
that
more
place.
space near where the open mic is, and you should change it and put another 4 pool tables in there.
Oh, that'd be great, but
Make it a pool hall.
it would honestly be so sad for the community
You're right.
that
It'd be
goes there
gutting.
for what the open mic nights. Like that's some people's way of, I don't know, releasing or definitely living. You know, they get tips there and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think it's like just a good like thing to do because usually it's a collaborative, supportive space, so you can go and.
It actually plays back to what you
People
said
are
to me that
homies.
night when you were listening to their music, and you said, "Wow, I wish there were more places like this having open mics."
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Definitely.
So replacing it with pool tables would completely remove what you were hoping to have more
You're right.
of.
All my ideas are brilliant, by the way. Just so you know, anything I say, smartest thing that's ever come out of anyone's mouth. And you should run with it. You should execute the plan immediately. Dude, that made me think of
The Trump song.
I
By
was thinking-
Jeezy and Burn.
Oh
Man.
no, I was thinking the Trump 2025 plan.
Oh god.
And I just, because remember last time we were talking about, you were like, dude, you compared yourself. And I was like,
Oh,
dude,
that's right.
you're not right. But like, you're right. And I was
Yeah, I
like,
know.
that's not right. But yeah, that was funny because that's all unfolding still.
Yeah, it is. We'll see what happens.
Dude.
Okay, so actually going into that for the market piece again, which I think is interesting. You had said earlier when we were just catching up and actually complaining about what's happening in the world with Trump. Not saying that
Sick socks, by the way.
Thank you. It's
Boba Fett?
Yep, it's Boba Fett. Yeah, first gen baby.
Dude, you know what's cool is I can tell by the just pure configuration and the
Colors.
color pattern or colors, whatever.
Yeah,
God, so good.
he is good.
He's such a cool character. It's okay, we won't go down Boba Fett.
We could
lane.
totally
I could talk
land
about
on
Boba Fett
Star
forever,
Wars
dude.
after this one.
Not, yeah,
Um,
for sure.
But okay, so the
Anything's
Trumpinator.
possible.
Yeah. Well, hold on. What were we saying about the Trumpinator now?
2025.
Oh, the stupid plan. Okay. So you were saying you're upset because you're like, I have no idea what he's going to do with any of these plans. Like, why is he doing it?
Yes.
The funny thing is, when you tank your economy or the market in general, do you know what happens usually when that occurs? The interest rates immediately get lowered, so it assists the economy when it comes to, let's say you want to buy a
I don't
house.
think I even knew that.
Yep.
Is
So
that happening right
so
now?
some folks think that Trump is doing this intentionally to help people
Interesting.
lower
Interesting.
interest rates so
Interesting.
life is livable again. and it'll also drive the prices of homes down as
This
well.
is a compelling thought process. Yeah,
I mean, you're seeing it happen.
Okay,
so,
sure.
and we're all asking, why is he doing it? Maybe this is an actual
So are you
reason why he's
saying that
doing
it's
it.
gone from like 7% to 5%?
That's what he's shooting for. Is what
Because
I'm
like
saying.
that's not even good. Like it's like almost like
it
you
could
don't
go
need
below
to take
4.
the economy.
It
to
could
do
go
that.
below 5%. And so if he does that, let's say he's successful based on essentially decimating. We're going to use that word again. Decimating the world economy and market right now based on tariffs. It might be a smart plan. However, it is definitely.
Dude, I think it's a horrible plan, and I don't think those are related.
I was just gonna say it's not a great plan because there's a chance that it doesn't work.
It's not gonna work.
So if it doesn't work and you don't force the Fed to lower the rates,
because he can't control the rest of the world. He's trying to do
he's banking
what
that
a
the
lot
Feds are
of
gonna
men
do
do with
what
their
they
lives.
always do.
They're like try to completely control it, and it's like you cannot force
He's banking
others.
it on the Feds doing what they have always done in situations like this, not tariff related, but just in situations
so you're
of the
saying
economy
that like
going
we
down.
need Trump, someone we can't trust at all, to trust on the Feds to be able to provide after bullying the Feds with ruining the economy.
I'm not saying it's a great plan because clearly he has burned a lot of bridges. But if he's successful with it, it actually helps us out.
He's like just rattling.
Because then the market will stabilize again.
Oh, I mean, dude, how cool would it be to have a stable market?
I'm just saying. I mean,
I loved it when I was just like before, dude.
Well, dude,
every day I'd be like, let's check it
we're
out.
Green again.
We're
baby.
green again. We're going up, going up, going up.
That's the funniest thing
That was
about
so fun. I love how
knowing
like
that.
gamified it is, because that's what the point of the apps are.
Yeah.
They're like,
Well, what's funny is that Biden, who did essentially nothing during his presidency, which is somewhat okay.
I think it was great.
No, I'm just saying,
I don't
like, it's
remember
somewhat
anything.
okay.
I feel his
It's
amnesia
because it
as he
did
does.
nothing.